Hello. So this is just going to be a very quick update to this list. So I think a lot of you said like there were quite a few ego gifts that I was underrating, and I also did not place some of the more generic, consistent ego gifts out of their respective themes. So I did push a few out. I did bump up a few as well, up a tier. As for the rest, I didn't really see more consistent use of them outside, so I might have missed a few, honestly. But I think in general, actually, I think Circuit is pretty good, right? Circuit? Let me check Circuit. Reducing damage using Envy or Burn, Flick Burn. It's kind of alright. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it really. Alright, so the things that MD2 hard have me so far is that Ego Resource Gen is the king if you want to keep spamming your egos, and then after that you definitely want to try and get your commemorative coin and faith as much as possible, because these will really help you with your ego spam. The faith is important because you will be burning your sanity like crazy and you're using your egos to clash. Something to take note is that if you want to preserve your ego resources when you're fighting a boss, you can actually take your defensive actions. So I think a lot of people have been saying like, oh, you should be using your defense skill instead, because you can actually you're going to win the clash anyway, so you might as well defend to mitigate the damage. And that makes a lot of sense actually. I can't believe the content it required to make defense skills good is making the enemies unclashable. Realistically unclashable. So yeah, tanks are actually quite good now. I have not done any thorough testing, so I'm just saying what I've heard from other people. So I will do a stream later today maybe, where I just showcase where I just test out how to do tank stuff basically. I think I will try it with the evasion, and then I'll bring one guard character. Wonder which character should be the guard character. Maybe End Muscle. My End Muscle is kind of leveled, so I can use that. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, so I think someone mentioned that Homeward was actually a pretty good one to maintain your health, and I agree. Yeah. Actually, for healing, right, you only need one from all of these, because your goal is not to like stay at full health the whole time. You just need to heal up the chip damage that you take in between fights. Like, you're not going to win every clash, right? So, but you are going to win some. So you're not going to take a huge amount of damage in one turn, unless like, you get super unlucky on the coin. So you do not need things that help you to live. You just need things to help top up your team so you don't insta die. So I would say just get any one of the healing items here. In fact, you can even say you can take Medkit as well. I think Medkit is the kind of weaker one, because this is an AoE heal. This heals everyone, and this heals everyone. So overall, these are all just better to help maintain your health. This one only triggers at 50%, so you would have to get pretty brutalized in order to get a heal. So I think that these three are the most consistent ones to maintain your health. Take note that actually none of these matter once you get the starter buff, autogenic, the bottom left tree. There's a heart shape. That heart shape will heal you for 10% of your HP every time you clear a combat node. So you will be able to maintain your health really easily, even without this, once you get that starter buff. But before you get the starter buff, just pick up one of these, and if you want to really top up your HP, then feel free to take one of them. Right, and some of you mentioned the Nebulizer Clover combo, where Nebulizer gives everyone 4 counts of Poise and 4 potency of the Poise. So what this does is that it allows your DPSs who have good coins to crit. So you are not supposed to bring the really bad Poise units with shit coins. What you do is you bring the very good units that don't have Poise and then slap some Poise on them, and then now they're good units. Sorry, they're even better units because they have Poise. That's how Poise works, right? If you are a good unit, then you slap some Poise on you, you're even better. But if you're a bad unit and you slap some Poise on you, you're still kind of bad. So you're not going to use those. So by that logic, these get a special mention as a combo. If you pick it, but the main one is definitely Nebulizer. You can get Clover, but it's not exactly something I would pick first. Like you definitely see Nebulizer, you can take. But you don't see Clover without Nebulizer, then you don't take first, I think. Yeah, Nebulizer is the core. Like, Nebulizer gives you 4/4 already. So even if you don't get Clover, you're still going to get 4 crits at a pretty okay chance to happen. Yeah. So Nebulizer gets a special mention. And then for other stuff, I did pull up a few to this high tier here because they are pretty consistent even without their respective archetypes. And let's talk about Wound Clerit. Wound Clerit is just very simple, right? As long as you have Wrath or Bleed, you inflict Bleed. So you don't actually need other Bleed sources. This skill just gives you additional Bleed damage, so it's kind of independent. I don't think I need to talk about Downpour. Downpour is just a tremor team in one item, so you can slap him here, whatever. You just pick this up and now you have free tremor every single turn. It's just ridiculous. I'm putting this up there because actually I find that in a lot of my runs, right, Tomorrow's Fortune really helps you to get the ego gifts that you really want. Considering that you are going to only get one choice when you clear an abnormality battle, although it's called focus battles now, right? So yeah, a focus battle has a pretty high chance to drop you an ego gift, but most of the time, right, I find that I always get some crap that I don't want. Like for example, I'll get these 3 or these 5, and I don't really want to run them on this team, or I get one of the ego gifts here that I really don't want to use at all. So Tomorrow's Fortune really helped me with the consistency. It's not super necessary because you can actually win without any of these ego gifts. It's just I rather, you know, like when I'm doing my MD too hard, I kind of want to have a fun build idea, right? So taking this as early as you can will really help you to make your build what you really want it to be. So I'm putting it up here, pretty consistent. This one is the Fairy on a Stick. I do not remember its name. It's Midwinter something, right? Let me try. Midwinter Nightmare, yeah. Whenever an ally deals HP damage, you inflict 3 sinking. If the skill's affinity is Gluttony, you inflict 5 sinking. You can ignore this part. If you have Gluttony, then it's a bonus, but if you don't, you inflict 3 sinking. So why is this good? Is because it's actually free damage on Abnos and free SP damage on regular enemies. So sinking is pretty good because now with the sanity changes, right, enemies can get panicked, can get shaken, whatever other statuses they have. And this is actually really good to help you make your runs more consistent, because getting that panic state, right, makes it so that the enemies, first off, will roll really shit against you. They roll their tails more. And then second off, they usually have some really bad effect that will happen to them when they are low sanity. So if you use Winter Nightmare, you just basically have a free sinking unit. So I would put this as a pretty high option in terms of killing either Abnos or killing regular enemies. Pretty damn good. It's quite similar to the other ego gift, Lost Star. Wait, where is it? Star. Oh my god, because start. Okay, let me try and find it. Where are you? Blunt star thing. There you go. Lower star. After dealing blunt damage, right, deal 5 SP damage to target. Very similar. It's just that when you do sinking, you actually can hurt the abnormalities. So in my opinion, it's a bit higher than lower star, and also the costs are different. So 102 here, 186 there, because 186 it does sinking damage to the enemy abnormality. So it's still better than lower star in a way. Yep. So I put it up here. Next one is Fiery Down and the chip. Yep, so Fiery Down, I think it's pretty simple. Basically, as long as you're running a burn character or any character with lust, which is honestly pretty easy when you consider what units you'll be bringing to the dungeon. You'll be bringing Ting Tang, you'll be bringing what's his name? Shidon. You'll be bringing some. I think someone mentioned Shi Ishmael was actually really good with a skill 2. Yep, that one's pretty okay as well. Basically anyone with lust, you can actually pretty reliably get this free burn, and because this effect here, as long as you have 20 plus burn, right, you can actually do pretty well. You can actually trigger this quite often, so I think it's pretty alright as an extra damage source. They are, I'm not sure if you guys realize, right, but actually all 3 of these, right, kind of do the same thing, where on hit you apply 3 of a status. So because it's so easy to trigger the condition, these 3 are very consistent. So they give you quite a bit of value, especially Wound Clerit, because all you need is Wrath skills, or you need someone that does bleed. So you can do Cloud Cutter, you can do Kiryoshu, you can do Rhino, you can do any of the Wrathers, so any of the Liu gang, because they have one Wrath skill, so they can also help trigger this. So basically, if your team can get good value out of these, then feel free to. I think Wound Clear It and Fiery Down are the more, the less versatile ones, because they need to be specifically an element or a archetype like Burn or Bleed. Yeah. So if you don't have those elements or you don't have those status effects, then you don't take them at all. Yeah, but this one is HP damage only, so he's the most consistent one. Yeah, so it's actually really good. And the chip here, circuit, is pretty simple also. It's Envy or Burn effect skill, so it's essentially the same trigger effect as Fiery Down. It's just that this one is just inflicting additional burn. Yeah, so honestly, you just take whenever it kind of fits you, but they are very consistent if they can fit you. Yeah. Besides that, I might have missed a few other options here, but oh yeah, I also want to mention, because in my previous video I talked about how I rated this a bit high here, but actually the main combo is definitely from these three here. This one is random targets get charge count, so it's a bit unreliable. But still, yeah, if you're going for charge count stuff to supernova someone with a turn 1 rip space, which is not super important in this mirror dungeon, then honestly, whatever. I think it's kind of funny though, because you can actually stack these two and then give everyone 10 charge, right? And then you just take all the other ego gifts that give all of your charge count characters buffs. So you actually don't even need to spend charge or gain charge in your character. You just give them all charge, take an ego gift that buffs them because they have high charge, and then boom, you have a charge comp going on. Yeah. So yeah, okay, that's it for the ego gift changes. In the end, ego spam is still the best, but now I realize from a lot of your comments that tanking is also quite viable. I want to try that out in the stream later. Yeah, so that's it for this video. See you all later. Bye bye.